Hello, in this video I will show you and share my opinion about TRI Meteor. And what is good about TRI as a company is that they are really fair. It's just a really straightforward hybrids with beryllium plated dynamic drivers and single balanced armature declared to be nulls. And it's like a really basic acoustic schema nowadays, and price is also really reasonable. It costs $110. I will add the link to the Hi-Fi Go shop in the description, and actually that's all I can say about this model in the introduction. Let's have a closer look. Package is interesting and pretty big. Actually, you know, it's bigger than average boxes for the earphones. I don't know why TRI do that. Maybe they wanted to make it look and feel more premium, but actually I don't think it makes much sense overall. On the back side we can see that it has 105 decibels of sensitivity and 12 ohms of impedance. So slightly harder than average to drive. Of course, impedance is low, but sensitivity is also not really high. Usually it's better to have higher sensitivity and slightly higher impedance. And inside there is a regular box, and they continue trying to impress everyone here. So on top you can get earpieces themselves, set of 5 pair of tips. Underneath you'll get a really nice stylish case and stock cable inside, and also some extra accessories here. So what it will be, probably some more tips and cleaning cloths. So it's empty, so additional black silicone tips. As you can see, accessory set is pretty good for this price range. Not everything makes a huge sense, but in general it's better to have extra accessories than don't have them. In terms of design, everything is pretty traditional. Nice semi-transparent black plastic, traditional shape of universal version of custom in-ear monitors, fitting nicely into ears, at least into mine. Of course, I can't guarantee that for everyone. So pretty strict black look with fancy faceplate. So in terms of design it's nice, and you can see what's going on inside of this earpiece looking through this transparent plastic. So here is a dynamic driver with sound tube, and in sound tube they put some acoustic impedance and balanced armature also with some filter inside, crossover PCB, so interesting in terms of internal components. Sorry, I shouldn't drop it, but it tried to escape me. And the spouts are slightly longer than average, and it gives a pretty nice sound isolation, slightly above average. Of course, it won't be enough for subway or some noisy environment, but in regular usage on some noisy street, in the public transport, it will be pretty decently doing its job. And I can say only good words about the stock cable. First of all, it matches the design of earpieces. They are black, and the cable is also black. Here used 2-pin connectors. I said many times that 2 pins are better in affordable models. And it's thick. Here used 8 wires, 4 per each earpiece, but at the same time it's really soft, super soft, really comfortable in usage. There are ear hooks, so zero microphonic effect, zero issues with wearing. It's almost not getting hard when it's cold, so really nice, pleasant, well-looking cable. So all good epithets can be applied to it. Simple splitter with chin slider, and after the splitter it goes nicely braided down to the regular straight jack. So as you can see, in terms of exterior and all that things like accessories and stuff, it's done on a really good level. And let's talk about the sound. I burned them in for about 48 hours. There were no significant changes in sound, so I don't think they require some extended burn-in. In terms of signature and representation, TRI also did a pretty straightforward tuning, but slightly goes aside from nowadays mainstream. They created V-shaped signature, but at the same time it's more relaxed than typical nowadays designs, and with a slight hint of added weight, and overall signature that is often referred as musical. And if you want a model with hyper detalization, with focus on the micro contrast, it's just better to look elsewhere. This model is for more coherent and more musical type of representation, with slightly relaxed treble and overall leaning towards a bit warmer sound. But at the same time not over warmed, not over bloated, but let's talk about everything step by step. So low frequencies are accented. To my ears accent isn't huge, but definitely noticeable, and the resolution is normal, but of course not trying to be superb, and this model not trying to be hyper detailed. Instead it's giving additional weight, making low frequencies like bigger, with more weight, with slightly highlighted textures, and with more body and relief. It goes pretty deep and has a pleasant slam and impact, but at the same time, most of all, it's suiting genres that requires warmth. And here is interesting example I selected for that. It's a Postmodern Jukebox. I really like this band. They are hyper productive, they release few albums each year, and they making great covers of popular music, rock music and stuff in jazz, swing and other early in the genres that were popular in the first half of 20th century. Really stylish and really nicely made. And in the air tonight, you understand whose cover it is, and here present nice and pleasant acoustic bass, and thanks to the slightly highlighted and weighty representation of this model, it sounds really interesting with big body. Of course, don't expect super realistic representation, because they are leaning slightly towards the fun side of tuning, but still sounds really pleasant. Mid frequencies are detailed, it's where balanced armature starts taking its part, and bass is almost perfectly controlled, and so it's not bleeding much onto mids, but of course on bass heavy tracks mids will be slightly shadowed by low frequencies. And at the same time, resolution on mid frequencies is nice, but not the maximum one, because they don't trying to be super detailed. They have a slight bump in the upper mids area to make everything more crisp, more clear, with that boost of presence area, but at the same time they still lower part of mids still leaning towards slightly warmer signature, giving additional body for the instruments and weight for the vocal. So also their type of tuning fun over neutrality or being super technical. Imaginary stage is above average, both in width and in depth. Width is slightly wider than depth, but of course it's not super huge in terms of staging, it's slightly more intimate, but at the same time I won't call them congested or something like that, because layer separation is pretty nice. And example for the mid frequencies, it's Santa Esmeralda. Don't let me be misunderstood, like classical reference, I don't know, it was early 80s or 70s, so a lot of things going on here at mid frequencies, guitars, clapping, and that boosted upper mids helps these earphones to play this part saturated, and at the same time that slight hint of additional weight highlights bass part here, and it sounds pretty fun and enjoying. And the treble is relaxed, not like super softened, but definitely not forward, not harsh, not the model for those who need like superb extension. Extension is just about average. It's audible that it's played by the balanced armatures, but at the same time they were probably slightly recessed by the crossover tuning. They they have slight bump on the frequency response, but not enough to fully compensate the low frequencies, and it's giving overall pretty comfortable treble. It plays nicely basic tones, but of course don't expect some layering or superb overtone saturation. It's not the audiophiliac model. It's model for those who want more musical type of tuning. And here is an example. It's Sting. They dance alone. Sting is always about really good percussions because his accompanying musicians are really great, and lot of different percussions, bells, cymbals, crashes, and so on. And they sound pleasant, but they lacking extension, they lacking layering here, but they not harsh and piercing. And speaking about the comparisons, just a pair of models to work as a reference points, like FIO FH1S, it's more natural, more focused on the micro contrast, more drier, brighter overall. And probably same applies to TRN VX, for example, a popular model, also natural, more drier and faster. And there are a bunch of models like TFZ, for example, that I've tested with more recessed treble sounding warmer, and P audio. And what else we have in this price tier? KZ, ZAX, they have more boosted low frequencies, bigger bass, but also they have a more boosted treble, so they are more V-shaped and boosting that both ends of sonic spectrum more. So, to summarize everything, TRI Meteor, it's a model for those who like slightly warmer, comfortable signature, but not over softened or something like that. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a nice day.